Okay, so this week I'm reflecting on the CCR, and I went through a course that I'm teaching in the spring that's actually a hybrid course. And most of the things I noticed that were already there, of course, the welcome part, I think I had everything clearly laid out, including a 1,000-point grading scale and the percentage grading scale, so the students could look at that with preference. Of course, my contact information, the orientation, the way to navigate the course, and it was definitely chunked into manageable instructional units. So one of the ways that I noticed that I did this that was not necessarily in the welcome and orientation, I did have a getting started tab with a video and a letter. The video was a screencast-o-matic video with me talking sort of through a tour of the course, and it wasn't very engaging, but it was very basic for those that needed to familiarize themselves with Blackboard and have a reminder of where to find things. I found in the past that students didn't necessarily want to take the time to watch the video. They wanted written directions. So I've created those to accompany the video as well, and it was very similar to probably what would have been scripted in the video. As far as the learning objectives and how they're linked to units, I actually build those into the weekly learning materials. So for week 1, on the outside of the folder it would say week 1. It has the specific deadlines. It has the objectives, which are directly from the MPOs. And then it also has the assignments that are due that week listed, but I also have some sort of little blurb that forms I guess, an anticipatory set or a way to get the students in the frame of mind of what they're going to be thinking about, and ends with an essential question. So it's tied to the objectives, but since students don't really use MPO speak, I formulated a setup for them so that they can think about what we're going to be exploring that week. In regard to the learner-to-learner interactions and learner-to-instructor interactions, and content, I think those are set up. The one thing that I struggle with that I would like to look at more is grouping. I do this very well by having them sign up in Google Forms. That works. It certainly works in the hybrid courses, but as far as collaborating in a completely online environment, I find that some of the students struggle with that, or they get frustrated and their partner's not doing their part, and they don't feel as accountable as they would in a face-to-face class. So I'm open to hearing more about that, which I think is going to happen in week 4 for this class. I think everything as far as instructional material I touched on was laid out. There are a number of different types of materials, from blogs to glogs to infographics to videos, trying to teach the same thing many different ways to appeal to different types of learners and to reinforce for those that need to hear it more than once, or kind of, wait for that information to click. They might read it and not get it. They might watch it and not get it, and then see it presented another way, and it occurs to them that this is what they're supposed to take away. Assessment, a lot of formative assessment that's not graded. It was in the course. All, of course, align clearly to objectives, the rationale for why we're doing said objectives. Since this course is actually titled Assessment for the Early Learner, it's fascinating because I talk to the students a lot about, I explicitly talk about why I choose assessments, because that's what they're supposed to be learning from that course. That assessments should be meaningful, they should be formative, they should be low stakes, and they should drive all planning. And so since I'm teaching that for that particular course, it's important that I model it. Technologies are current and definitely used to reinforce learning objectives. The help center is provided, the support page, and as far as accessibility for diverse learners, I think I'm meeting diverse learning needs, and if I were to have something come up where a student needed a specific accommodation, I could certainly work with that. I don't have much experience using assistive technologies in an online format. We do we do consider readability and less distractions in the course, and I try to keep everything within 2 clicks, and that's something I advise my instructors and adjuncts to do. If you're adding materials 2 clicks away or less, keep things condensed, concise, and take out the superfluous material. I mean, you don't need to provide them with everything. If it doesn't lead to a meaningful assignment or assessment or learning experience, then it's not a place to store information. So I think that covers it pretty much. I will be using this form, the CCR, in conjunction with some other audit forms from the Blackboard minimum usage for looking at audits in the spring for my adjuncts and full-time faculty. So I think this is very useful, and I'm glad that this is created and that we're actually taking a look and auditing and holding people accountable for those online courses and what should be happening. So I appreciate it. Thanks.